Hey guys and gals, this is Alex with Legendary Apartment Brokers here in Kansas City. Today is Monday, June 16th, 2025. This is the KC Multifamily Minute where I cover every single new opportunity that hits the open market in Kansas City that's a multifamily listing, whether that's Zillow, LoopNet, Realtor.com, Redfin, CoStar, LegendaryApartmentBrokers.com, my website, whatever the case may be. I'm going to cover that property for you and tell you if I think it's in a class A, B, C, or location, or the price or the price per unit, and maybe how it might fit in for your 1031 exchange or active real estate investing. So if you've got a 1031 exchange, listen to this every single week, and we can cover these. Also reach out to me, Alex at LegendaryApartmentBrokers.com, and we can talk about what your options are there as well. So right now, let's get right into it like we do every single week with some statistics. What do we got new? What's on the market? And really, how many are out there for you to evaluate that are not under contract? So, LoopNet, LoopNet CoStar, we got 46 that are out there. Let me go over there here to this right now. We'll talk a little bit here. So, 46 out there, 43 available, 3 are under contract. This is all the ones that are listed as multifamily, which means you got 43 that you can evaluate. Typically, these are going to be $1 million plus. There's a lot underneath here that are less than $1 million, but typically $1 million plus, up to maybe somewhere around the $10 million mark, all years, and construction and different parts of the project, wherever the case may be. I've covered every single one of these, by the way. As far as this week, there's nothing really new on the open market. You guys have seen these 4 units here, these 4 houses that's listed here at the top. For podcast listeners, this is the one on Martini Quarter, 56 East 32nd Street. I like these houses, brand new construction, built 4 or 5 years ago for $825,000. I think it's a fine deal. If you like the new construction, you want to be in the urban core of Kansas City in Class A location. Okay, so I'm not going to talk any more about that one. So there's nothing new here on the open market in the last 7 days on LoopNet. So let's get back over here to the MLS-powered stuff. This is my website, LegendaryApartmentBrokers.com. I've got this filtered down to anything that's built before 2020 and that is $500,000 plus, so we're not getting into all the duplexes that are out there and some of the other lower price or mislabeled stuff. But how many are out there that we can evaluate? So there's actually 87 out there that are that 2020 or older construction and that are $500,000 plus, but only 62 are available, which means 25 are under contract. But still, 62 that you can go out there and get. Let's do a fun little exercise here. Well, how many of those are actually going to be $500,000 to $1 million? So remember, there's 62 out here. So $500,000 to $1 million. Of the 62, well, shoot, let me get rid of all the new stuff here. So sorry about that. So of the 62, redoing this here. Let's make sure we got this right. Of the 62 that are available, so we got to go make sure we got active status here. Sorry, I'm sure the suspense is killing you. So of the 62 that are out here, $500,000 plus, we've got that whittled down to $500,000 to $1 million. There are 39. So 39 out of 62 are in that $500,000 to $1 million. Which means if you've got $500,000 to $1 million bucks to spend, you've got 39 listings to take a look at that are active and available right now. What about if you wanted, let's say, $1 million to $2 million? So let's redo our filters here just for fun. $1 million to $2 million. So remember, there's 62 total. That means you got another 16. So there's maybe 7 or so that are going to be above. So there's 16 that are $1 million to $2 million. So my guess is there's somewhere around 7 that are 2 million plus out here on the MLS, okay? So yes, there's exactly 7, so I'm decent at math, looks like. So keep that in mind when you're looking at all these deals on the MLS and the MLS versus LoopNet of really kind of what's out there. So if you're in that $500,000 to $1 million range, which most of you are because mathematically that's where a lot of these deals fall in, you've got 39 to look at as of right now. I've got a bunch more off market. I got maybe 5 to 10 off market that are in that price range, and then several over $1 million. So there's a lot to look at. It's a buyer's market. I'm going to keep saying that. Okay, so no more wasting your time here. What do we got for actual new opportunities to look at that are $500,000 plus? Remember, on Zillow or on CoStar, there aren't really any. So let's go back in here to new opportunities here that are going to be in the wheelhouse of investors looking in Kansas City. So again, it says 5 of them. You guys have seen a lot of these already before, so we're not going to talk about this first one here, Lenexa. Duplexes, those go on and off the market. I'm not sure what's up with that there. Another deal is these condos in Liberty, so we're not going to cover that. This is a building in KCK. I'm not going to cover that. It doesn't have a photo. So really, we're going to focus on these two here. We've got a series of duplexes here, 3 duplexes in Belton. I think it's 3. Let's double check on that. 3 duplexes here in Belton. Yes, 3 duplexes in Belton for $550,000, so less than $110,000. Belton's going to be typically a Class A or B or sometimes C location. These are duplexes. I'm thumbing through the photos here. Look more classic construction. If you love duplexes, something under $100,000 per unit could be an interesting fit, but based on the photos, there is going to be some work to do here. I'm sure we can all get through that on the due diligence side, but it's just something to consider. If you've got, let's say, $550,000 to spend, could be a good fit for your 1031 exchange, because these are going to be in a Class A or B, maybe a C location in Belton, but pretty typically you're not going to have a ton of owner expenses because they are duplexes side by side. Could be an interesting fit for you. Their rent should be about, depending on if they're 2 bedrooms or not, $1,000 or so, okay? All right, next up, let's get to the last new opportunity. So this one is a 6-plex in Platte City. Looks like a newer construction. Just so you guys know, I haven't had a ton of opportunity out here in Platte City. This is going to be north of the airport, up here west of Liberty, west of Smithville, still in Platte County, obviously, because it's Platte City. This is a newer constructed 6-plex for about $138,000, $135,000 per unit. They all have garages. They're all side by side, townhouse style. I'm not sure if rents eclipse that $1,300 price point, but this could be an interesting opportunity for you if you want something that's going to be in one of these smaller towns that's still powered by Kansas City, especially with the airport being so close by. I've got friends and family or friends that are from the Platte City area. So there's some familiarity there. It's a great little spot next to the airport, definitely part of the Kansas City Metro. Class B, maybe A, maybe B minus area. I would not call it a Class C area by any stretch, especially because of the vintage and the structure here of this 6-plex. Might be a little bit on the high side, but again, you got to have that newer construction. This could be a good fit for you for your 1031 exchange, and we can talk more about it. Okay, so that's all the new stuff. So a couple new ones here. Maybe things have slowed down on the new listing activity. I don't know. I just put a bunch of smaller stuff out there. So what does it really tell us? So let's actually look at statistics here of what's sold. So this is focusing only on what I've got pulled up here for podcast listeners. What's actually sold here year to date compared to years past. This is going to be $300,000 plus. This is all MLS data, but $300,000 plus in the 7 counties of the metro. That's multifamily. That's going to be 5 or more units. So really just kind of eliminating the 4-plexes, triplexes, duplexes, all that kind of stuff, and only focusing on 5+ units, true commercial loans. Now, the data gets skewed because there's only so many transactions that actually occur based on MLS data. And we know based on surveys and other factors that maybe half or twice as many deals are sold off market, depending on how hot the market is in any given time. And then, of course, a bunch are sold off of only on LoopNet or only on some of the larger platforms. But just focusing on this data, comparing it year over year, in this one, the bright green is 2025. We had an interesting start to the year, pretty strong. And then maybe, went up a little bit. Again, we're talking about 2 or 3 listings difference each month, which isn't a ton. May was actually a really strong month. I mean, on paper, looks like here it's actually 7 versus 4. So yeah, that's whatever, 80% more transactions. But again, it's such a small sample size, it doesn't really matter. So what does this really tell us? Well, what this tells me is that, based on what you're hearing from me, you see that there's a lot of product on the open market every single week, new product coming on. There's a ton of active listings. The listings are sitting there. And so what it's telling me is that it's still a buyer's market. Transactions are not getting done compared to the volume that's out there. And so if you've got a 1031 exchange, you want to be an active real estate investor, now is the time to keep looking, because rates are going to move one way or the other, and you're either going to look like a genius if they go up, or you're going to refinance if they go down. I'm never going to ask you to overpay, but entrust with me, and I can find you something in Class A, B location, Class C location if that's what you're looking for. So reach out, Alex at legendaryapartmentsbrokers.com. Again, that's Alex at legendaryapartmentsbrokers.com. We'll talk soon.